maybe it's the heat. I don't know if anyone, maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's the heat, but I don't know if anyone could have beaten Trump last year, which is why this feels like a much more conservative Democratic Party than 4 years ago. It's a much more frightened Democratic Party that thinks tacking towards the right will win them next year's midterms. I think Democrats are so distraught, their only hope right now is Trump will crash the entire economy and kill 1 million people from a disease like COVID the same way he did back in 2020. It was easier to beat him back then. So maybe it's the heat. I'll be honest, I have a bad feeling. I don't think the Democratic Party has the vocabulary to combat what they and our entire country is up against, and that is fascism. I don't think this Democratic Party has the infrastructure to offer up real-world progressive alternatives to Donald Trump's faux populism in the service of fascism. I voted for Mamdani. He'll make a terrific mayor. And I'll go over his policies in a while. He is everything I want and more. I have a bad feeling, though, not about him, but how corrupt the Democratic leadership is, especially here in New York City, and how beholden it is to Wall Street and the oligarchs. I rarely talk about New York City politics because it's too provincial for the rest of the world, but in the next couple of months, leading up to November's election, I truly believe right now, New York City is not just the heartbeat of capitalism, it's also the heartbeat of the Democratic leadership and its policy. Right now, what happens in New York doesn't stay in New York, especially because Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer represents the state of New York. He lives in New York City. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer represents the state of New York and lives in New York City. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries represents New York City. His congressional district is smack dab in the middle of New York City. So if the Democrats win next year's midterms, 2 New York City Democrats will be in charge of Congress. A black man, Jeffries, and a Jew, Schumer. Next year, in the midterms, in every state and congressional district, it's Jeffries and Schumer who are on the ballot. Every Democratic candidate for Senate, every Democratic candidate for the House is essentially running alongside Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer. And right now, the polling shows next year's midterms are tight, with Democrats showing a very slight lead. But when it comes to the House, thanks to Republican gerrymandering, Democrats need to be leading in the polls by 2 to 3% nationally to even suggest they have a chance of winning back the House of Representatives. But more ominous for the Democrats is a highly respected Quinnipiac University national poll of registered voters that came out earlier this month. It shows congressional Republicans, led by Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader John Thune, they have an 11% higher approval rating than Democrats. It's not looking good. The stock market is approaching record highs. Trump is going to spin the Middle East to his advantage, even though it was a complete debacle. Voter suppression, dark money, disinformation, the ability to lie with abandon, Democrats not knowing who they are while Republicans know exactly who they are. All of this right now gives me nothing but darkness to paint with. I do believe New York City between now and November will be the tale of the tape. I think the future of the Democratic Party will be sealed for the next decade here in New York City. Will they choose Mamdani or go with Cuomo or Eric Adams? Now, we have two other off-year elections. There's one in Virginia and New Jersey. And the lesson in both those states this year will be Democrats need to tack to the center. That's always the lesson Virginia teaches. Democrats need to abandon the progressives and move towards the center. And I think New Jersey is getting more conservative, and I think the lesson New Jersey is going to try to teach Democrats this November is tack to the center. But the race for mayor here in New York City, that's going to be the real national campaign. This is where the epic struggle inside the Democratic Party is going to be fought precinct by precinct, block by block. This is the Mop-Up. I'm David Feldman in New York City. Thank you so much for joining me. Please like this episode so I remain in your feed, and please share it with like-minded people. U.S. Congresswoman LaMonica McIver represents parts of Newark, New Jersey. She pled not guilty this week after getting arrested by ICE during her inspection of a for-profit immigration detention facility in her district where 4 inmates escaped during an uprising triggered by unlivable conditions, including lack of food, beds to sleep on, and basic hygiene. 3 of the 4 inmates have been captured. 1 is still at large. New Jersey Senator Andy Kim said the prison is so poorly built, the men were able to claw through the broken mesh walls. Video of the black congresswoman's arrest show her elbow getting pushed into an ICE agent who required 0 medical attention. But she was charged, and a grand jury later indicted her for assaulting, resisting, and impeding immigration officers. Ras Baraka, the black mayor of Newark, had been arrested alongside her, but the interim New Jersey federal attorney dropped the charges against him. Mayor Baraka, a left-of-center candidate, went on to lose the Democratic primary for governor of New Jersey earlier this month to Congresswoman Mikie Sherrill, who ran to the center, which is why I'm saying New Jersey's lesson in November, the lesson New Jersey is going to try to teach is Democrats win when they run to the center. So, when you look at what happened in New Jersey, you see there's a problem with Democrats. Not just with their leadership, there's a problem with Democratic voters. I will say this, however, the odious Congressman Josh Gottheimer, Democrat, he's essentially a Republican. He represents Bergen County, New Jersey. He was running for governor. He came in 4th place. By the way, that interim New Jersey federal attorney who indicted Congresswoman McIver is Alina Habba, Donald Trump's former strip mall attorney, who famously said she'd rather be pretty than smart. Well, she helped Trump lose a civil lawsuit last year where he was ordered to pay $83 million to E. Jean Carroll for defaming her. And Habba also helped Trump lose a civil lawsuit last year where he was ordered to pay $500 million to the state of New York after a judge ruled he defrauded lenders. She's now the New Jersey U.S. Attorney, interim. Habba said she decided to prosecute the black U.S. Congresswoman LaMonica McIver after the Congresswoman reportedly turned down a plea deal. After pleading not guilty Wednesday, Congresswoman McIver said, quote, "They will not intimidate me. They will not stop me from doing my job." Video of the Congresswoman's arrest shows some ICE agents wearing masks, which is causing concern for members of Congress and civil libertarians and the immigrant community. As The Guardian points out, some Americans are posing as ICE officers and either intimidating or attempting to drag immigrants into unmarked cars. So, when plainclothes ICE agents refuse to identify themselves, when they hide their faces, when they pull up in unmarked vans, they are more likely to encounter subjects who run from them. This is, you can see, New York City Comptroller and former mayoral candidate Brad Lander getting arrested by masked ICE agents who were in plain clothes last week. Would you trust these men to put you in an unmarked van? Attorney General Pam Bondi, however, is apparently fine with these mask mandates. She testified before a Senate subcommittee on Wednesday and told Michigan Senator Gary Peters that despite countless videos showing masked ICE agents in plain clothes pulling up in unmarked vans to make arrests, our Attorney General testified she had no idea that ICE agents were hiding their faces, that women and children were getting dragged away inside unmarked vans. She had no idea that this was causing panic in vulnerable communities. She told Senator Peters, quote, "Sounds like you have a specific case, and I'd be happy to talk to you about that at a later time because I'm just not aware of that happening," unquote. The Attorney General then offered up a possible explanation for why ICE agents are hiding their faces, and that is, she said, they're terrified of getting doxxed. Offering no proof, the Attorney General said ICE agents and their families are being physically threatened. Physically threatened. Wait, ICE agents are Republican members of Congress who announced they're not voting for one big, beautiful bill? Those are the only federal employees getting physically threatened. People who disobey Donald Trump. Senator Gary Peters, Democrat from Michigan, warned the Attorney General that while no ICE agents have been injured yet, the ones wearing masks in plain clothes do run the risk of getting hurt by people who think they're being kidnapped or attacked by an unhinged assailant. Earlier in the week, The Guardian interviewed Mike German. He's a former FBI agent who warned ICE agents wearing masks is a troubling sign of, quote, a rapidly eroding democracy. He said this is unprecedented in American history, and by disguising their faces from the public, ICE agents are contributing to America's increasing distrust of all law enforcement agencies. German said law officers delegitimate their own authority by hiding behind masks. German told The Guardian that immigration agents hiding behind neck gaiters, hats, and sunglasses, quote, highlights the illegitimacy of their actions. In other words, they're ashamed of themselves. A spokeswoman for the Department of Homeland Security told The Guardian that masks are necessary to protect officers' privacy. The Department of Homeland Security spokesperson also told The Guardian there's been an increase in ICE agents being assaulted. When asked for evidence, the Department of Homeland Security failed to provide any. The Guardian also reporting a bill has been introduced into the California State House forbidding police officers from disguising their faces on the job. This is the Mop Up. I'm David Feldman in New York City. Thank you so much for finding me.